What's up, guys and gals? It's Mizuna, and welcome back to another video. Today we're starting a career playthrough of Kerbal Space Program, a game by Squad. This game's a ton of fun. I love it a lot, and I think I may have uploaded one video of it before, not entirely sure. Either way, we are starting a career playthrough today using a ton of mods. We are using the SETI Meta Modpack. You can download that through CCAN, just like most mods. If you don't know how to do that, there are plenty of tutorials online. That is CKAN. And it just adds a lot of functionality and a lot of realism to the game. The biggest part being that you have to run unmanned missions before manned missions because of how the parts come to you. We are also running remote tech, so we'll be disabling the stock comm network because remote tech does it better. And we are running FAR, the Theron Aeronautics Research, I believe is what that stands for. It is a mod that overhauls the entire aerodynamic system of the game, making it much more realistic. So I figured I'd take you through the setup portion of the new game. We are going to allow quick loading, but not reverting flights. We have Crash, which allows us to simulate flights, so if I'm not 100% confident, I will be running simulations. We are not going to touch... No, we're not going to allow negative funds in science. I've never really understood why you would do that. Part pressure, part G-force, and Kerbal G-force limits all enabled, so our Kerbals will go unconscious if the G-forces get too high. Don't need to edit any of these. Empty tech tree nodes, very helpful when you're using the community tech tree mod. We are going to remove empty horizontal space and vertical space. Crash, I think we have everything. We're going to enable the wireframe so we know it's a sim. Let's see. State funding enabled. I hope that that actually works. It wasn't last time I tested it, but we'll see. Tech life support and toolbar control. That's all fine. All right, so the space agency is going to be called Mizuna Space Agency. So this save is going to be called MSA SETI Career. And our flag, I have loaded my own flag into the game. If I could just find it, that would be great. There it is. Accept. Alright, so we're going to start our game here, and a game with that name already exists. I was doing some testing earlier. So, here we go. A bunch of these mods are not actually made for the newest version of Kerbal Space Program. However, as far as I can see, they work just fine. Almost all of them. I have not yet found one that's straight up broken. Which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, we have all of our buttons down here. Buttons, buttons, lots of buttons. This is our scan. Okay, we can play with all this later. So the first thing to do when you start a new game in career mode is to accept some missions, so let's go do that. We're going to see what all of our offered missions are. We have perform experiments around the KSC. We're definitely going to do that fairly quickly. And SETI contracts, altitude record, accept, and escape the atmosphere, accept. Both of these are going to be done on one run, and then this one will be done with the Rover parts that we unlock directly afterwards. So, we're going to go to our vehicle assembly building, and we're going to build our first vessel. It's going to be a sounding rocket that should take us up out of the atmosphere. We want a SETI probe stack 1. We want a solid rocket booster. Doesn't need to be anything too major here. We also want a nose cone, some fins, 3 of them to be exact, an antenna for communication. They're both basically the same. Let's see, we'll just take the 1.5 megameter one. And do we have any other science we can take with us? Yes, we have a barometer that we can take with us. We will load that up on the other side of our vessel. Alright, so this should take us very far up. Oh, interesting. Why would we want weights? Experimental inline weight with changing weight properties. Very strange. Okay. Let's see, what else? Do we need anything else? What do you guys think? I think we could use a battery or two. Because... Let's see, how much? You have 200, this will double it. Alright, that should be good enough. We don't want to run out of energy and be unable to transmit our science data back to the Kerbal Space Center. So, this is the NSA sounding rocket. It is designed to go up. Silly that hotkeys work while typing. I'm not quite sure why that is. Designed to go up, then come down. Alright. Now, we have 1,810 Delta V just in this little solid rocket booster. We weigh about 1/4 of a ton. And it's going to cost us 1,500 credits to launch this guy. So, let's give it a shot. We're going to launch. I do have the game loaded on an SSD, so loading time should be relatively short. Alright, fuel balancer, we don't really need you, thank you very much. We are going to perform all science, handy little button there, and we are going to transmit the science back to the Kerbal Space Center. Then we are going to pull up by... What? I wish I could... Can I move this stuff around? Let me guys know if you know how to move some of these around. Because that would be really, really nice. Anyway, so we can see that we have about half of our energy left after that. So we're going to wait, hold back on transmitting more science until we get all the way out of the atmosphere, because this should take us all the way out of the atmosphere, and we want to maximize this first launch. So let's go! You can see that because of our aerodynamics overhaul, we get going much faster with a little rocket like this, which makes a lot of sense. That to me is how it should be. So, did our barometer survive? It did indeed, which is perfect. Our apoapsis should be well above the atmosphere at this point, 127,000 meters, so that's 127 kilometers. So we are going to physics warp ourselves up out of the atmosphere, perform all the science, send it back to the Kerbal Space Center, and that is a good start. We have also completed some science, or some missions there. So, transmit this back. There you go. That's pretty much all the science that we can do. We're going to accelerate until we're back in the atmosphere, and then we're going to perform all science one more time, just use the last of our electric charge to hopefully transmit. That's not going to work, is it? No, I didn't think so. Okay, we're out of electric charge now, so that's fine. Gonna physics warp ourselves back down to the ground. This guy is going to crash land. Unfortunate, but there's not really a way we could bring it back safely, and it is a sounding rocket, so it's to be expected. Sad that we had to send it up with a probe core attached, because obviously a real sounding rocket would just be that, a rocket. You would push a button at the Space Center, and it would light the fuel. But that's fine. Alright, we're gonna go back to the Space Center now. So that mission took 7 minutes about, and we got out of the atmosphere. We have a bunch of science here, not a bunch, but 30, with which we are going to grab engineering, because it gives us probe wheels. That's a big thing. And we could get survivability, which would make our manned mission much easier. However, I think that we will grab... I'm not really sure. This has fairings, RCS, cargo bays. We have some jet engines in stability. That's not bad. Let's leave it there for now. Let's build ourselves a little rover to collect science from around the KSC. This will also give us a seismometer. Do we have any science in any of these? This has a magnetometer. Oh, magnetometer. Very difficult to say fast. I challenge you to try it. But this, while this does work on the surface, it only gives you like less than 1 bit of science, so it's not really worth it. So we are going to leave it there for now. And we also have the option checked that we have to purchase each part that we want to use. Which adds just a little bit of challenge to the game. We are going to grab the Rove Max Model 1. We are going to be taking a rover, an autonomous rover, with us on this little mission, because rovers are, well, they're kind of difficult. They have a tendency to explode for no reason, so we're just going to be very careful. We are going to unlock a few other things here, including a high gain antenna. We'll need that moving forward. Obviously, we'll need a lot of this stuff moving forward, but we are going to unlock the Z400 rechargeable battery, so we have radially mounted batteries for this rover. Let's grab the Illuminator MK1 and the MK5 strip light so that our rover can give us better visibility in the dark. And I think that is all we need for now. Yes, that's all we need for now. So, let's head over to the spaceplane hangar and design ourselves a science rover. Once again, load times. There we go. Perfect. We want the Rove Mate. We want it to... Is there a way to change the axis of rotation, by the way? Because that I would love. I think there is. I just don't know it. It's funny, I've played this game a lot, but there are a lot of things about it I don't know. That being one very excellent example. Alright, so, power storage. We are going to put on... What? See, why would it rotate that way? Clearly, I would like it to rotate around the Z-axis, but, you know, it's fine. We are going to put the batteries, I think, on either side here. Makes sense. Did that work? Yes, okay. That's a lot of batteries, so we should be able to do just fine with that. I'm not sure if a solar panel part is in the cards right now, so we'll just pop on a Communitron 16S, Kerbal Engineering Redux. If you could sit over there, please, that would be helpful. We don't need 2 of these, obviously. Now we need wheels, which are underground. And those are going to place all wonky, which is fine. Alt-click to copy. And then use our rotate tool to rotate that inwards so that they make more sense. Perfect. Now, we want the front, which I'd like to say that these are the front wheels, to be our steering wheels, and our back wheels to not have steering capability. We also want our back wheels to have brakes maxed out so that while we brake, it has a tendency to pull the craft backward rather than braking sharply and flipping end over end. Very important when dealing with rovers. Next thing we need is obviously our 3 science experiments. We do not need mirrored on these, so we have our thermometer, our barometer, and our accelerometer. It's a seismic accelerometer, so really it's a seismometer. So, this should be everything we need to rove around the KSC. Let's name this the MSA Rover MK1. Designed to drive around. That's it. Alright, save and launch. Now, when driving rovers, especially on a high gravity body like Kerbin, very important to limit your speed to a reasonable level. Because, okay, alright, it looks like our steering is reversed. That's unfortunate. Or our front and back is reversed? It's kind of weird. That's fine. We can just set the motor direction on all of these wheels to reversed, and then we'll be facing the correct direction. Let's try it now. Indeed, we go forward. All right, perfect. So we can say perform all science. Can we not say perform all science from here? Of course not. We can say it from here, though. We can transfer the data to the rove mate, and then when we get off the runway, we should be able to perform all science again. Because this should be a different bio. That's the runway. This is Kerbal Shores. So we're going to keep, perform, transfer into here. It doesn't actually transfer all of them at once, which is quite unfortunate, but that's fine. Then we can perform all science, keep, transfer, and it's just a little bit of micromanagement to start us off here in the very early days of our space program. So that was Kerbal Shores. This over here will be mission control, and then we'll get signs from the flagpole, the space plane hangar, the VAB, research and development is over there, the tracking station, all of these places. So we're going to pull up science here and now. It's a very helpful mod that... also, we are going to have to... Oh, no. The brakes are set up right. It just wanted to tip over anyway. This allows us to grab the science that we need from each place without having to click on everything, because that's a little bit micromanagey for my tastes. Now, the other thing I want to do is actually... what if I disable the motors on the back wheels? I think that'll prevent it from tipping a little bit. Oh, that was a little bit... Can I not... Do you need to transfer still? Okay. That's fine. Alright, now... Log sizement. Okay, so we'll keep that. Keep that. It's very interesting how this is working. It's not quite... that's the flagpole. Okay. Is all of this working? Why does it say the temperature scan isn't working? I don't know. It's kind of finicky for some reason. I'm not sure why. Alright, so that's the flagpole. This was mission control. Or no, wait. This is the administration building. That is mission control. So we need to head over there to grab the science from mission control. Hit our brakes, and we flipped over. And we have lost our antenna. Interesting. Alright. I wish there was an easy way to transfer data. Container transfer data. To transfer the data to... No. Container collect all. There we go. Now, that was the button I was looking for. And then we need to perform all science. Keep, and collect all. Not all items can be stored. That's fine. We still have control somehow. Maybe the rover has a little bit of... has an antenna of its own. That would be the most sensical to me. break. I'm not sure why we still have a tendency to flip over, but that's fine. Let's perform all science. Keep. And container collect all science. Okay, that's fine. This was the administration building, I suppose. And then this is the R&D. We're going to perform all science, keep. Transfer data to here, collect all. I think something got a little bit buggy there. There we go. Okay. So that was R&D. Now we can go over to the VAB, Vehicle Assembly Building, gather all that science. There's a bunch of it. Now. Mission control. Well, we haven't actually collected any of the science yet, so that makes sense. Perform all the science. 1, 2, 3, 4. Collect all should go up to 24. Perfect. Alright, now we've hit our rhythm. Now we understand how all this works. So we're going to drive over to the tracking station. R&D, mission control, and crawler way. Okay, so I'm almost done with this mission. I do want, obviously, to get all of the science that we can here in the very early game. It's important to do. Don't flip over. Seismic stand, keep. Collect. Review data, and reset. Now this should be the tracking station. Perfect. We can just right-click, perform all science. I know this is getting redundant, but the early episodes in a series like this will always be just a little bit of grind, a little bit of stuff to get out of the way. And if you haven't seen the game before, this could actually be very helpful information for you. Just how to do all this stuff, how to maximize your science in the very early game. Very important information. It is currently raining inside, apparently. Alright, here we go. I'm still not sure why this rover has a tendency to tip forward, but we'll deal with it. This is the crawler way. We should be able to perform all science. And this will be all of the science that we need to perform for this mission. However, I also want to hit the launch pad and the spaceplane hangar, because that will be all the biomes in our immediate vicinity. And that'll give us a really great boost towards the next level of technology, which will help a lot. Because obviously with remote tech and everything, we need decent launch vehicles to launch decent satellites to control all of our probes and all of our manned missions as well. So now we're in the launch pad. I'm not quite sure that this is the launch pad, but if we just perform all science, we have already done some of this science because we had the missile launch from here, obviously. All right, last one, spaceplane hangar, which is this building over here. So let's get going over there. These bigger rover wheels, I got the bigger ones instead of the small ones, can go very fast, and if you're not careful, you will tip over and it will be a bad day. So just watch your speed, keep it around, 10 to 14 meters per second maximum. And obviously on slopes, you want to go slower than that. So let's keep that, collect that. Couldn't collect it because we already have it in the module. It just doesn't know that, so we'll reset that experiment. And then we should be entering into, this is mission control. Okay, apparently I did not get mission control. We'll perform all. Collect all. And then this is the spaceplane hangar, right? Alright. So that is, in total, something like 35 experiments? 45. Okay, so we can recover that vessel. It should complete that contract. I need to figure out how to hide this thing in between episodes because it's not helpful and just gets in the way. And we earned 122.8 science just by roving around the KSC. So really important that you do that. Very, very important. All right, so contracts complete. World's first. Broken a speed record, etc., etc. Contract for the 18 kilometers. Escape the atmosphere. New strategy available. Check that out next episode. Perform experiments, all of the component parts, and then the completion reward. And that, I would say, is a very good stopping point for our first episode of the Kerbal Space Program. So, in the next one, we are going to look at a manned rocket launch to 18 kilometers and possibly into orbit. We are also going to put our first ever satellite into orbit and hopefully also get a plane, a little basic science plane built so that we can tour around Kerbin itself and get all of the science from all of the different biomes. For now, thank you all for watching. I hope I see you next time. This is Mizuna, signing off. I'll see you later.